Welcome back to another video.
Videos. Do not obey. Stay woke.
When the horse stood up.
Ancient spiritual technology. Demon. Videos.
Heard any stories from your nanas or pawpaws?
Okay. Peace.
You are starting to remember. You're finally starting to remember. The GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education, Accelerated Learning, Complex Learning, Advanced Learning. You've been on our radar for a long time. You're finally ready.
Saw the video I did on the GATE program, you'll remember we explored its strange connections to psychic research, the gateway tapes used for consciousness expansion, Zener cards for ESP testing, the mysterious pink drink some students remember being given, and the possibility that GATE wasn't just about finding gifted students, but about studying, identifying, and training children with unique or even psychic potential for future government projects. But that's not where the story ends. Because when former GATE students found each other online as adults, they realized something strange. They weren't just connected by their childhood experiences. They shared remarkably similar traits, struggles, and abilities in adulthood. And most bizarrely, many of them shared the exact same recurring dream. They call it Mall World, a liminal space that feels strange, yet familiar. And even though these people have never met in real life, they all describe having eerily similar dreams about this place. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the other traits they share. First, there's the pattern recognition. GATE kids as adults report an almost compulsive ability to see patterns everywhere. In data, in social situations, in random events, they make connections others miss, sometimes to the point of paranoia. They overthink everything, analyzing situations from every possible angle, unable to turn off the analytical part of their brain. Sleep problems are nearly universal. Insomnia, delayed sleep phase syndrome, vivid dreams, difficulty maintaining normal sleep schedules. Many report being natural night owls, feeling more alert and creative in the late evening and early morning hours. Some wonder if the consciousness exercises from childhood permanently altered their sleep architecture. There's also a pervasive sense of not fitting in. Many GATE adults report feeling like outsiders their entire lives, struggling with social anxiety, feeling like they're observing human behavior from the outside rather than naturally participating in it. They often describe feeling like they're playing a role in social situations, rather than being authentic. Many also report strong creative abilities. They excel at abstract thinking, creative problem solving, and artistic pursuits, coming up with unconventional solutions. Many work in creative fields, technology, or research positions that require innovative thinking. And then there's the dreams, the one experience that stands out as too specific and too consistent to be coincidence. It all started with people online discussing something strange, a recurring dream about a mall that doesn't exist. As more people shared their experiences, a pattern emerged. Thousands of people were dreaming about the same place, and a disproportionate number of them were former GATE students. A massive, sprawling shopping mall that exists in the dreams of thousands of people, and the details match in ways that shouldn't be possible. It's always multi-level, usually 3 to 5 floors, though the exact number is hard to pin down. The layout doesn't follow logical architecture. Hallways loop back on themselves. You can walk in a straight line and somehow end up where you started. Escalators and elevators don't always lead where they should. The stores are familiar but wrong. Brand names that almost make sense but aren't quite real. A bookstore that's always there but changes location. A department store that you can never quite remember the name of. Shops that feel like real stores from childhood but merged together. Hybrid versions that exist only in this space. The lighting is specific and consistent across reports. Fluorescent, creating a hazy, dreamlike quality. But always that distinctive mall lighting that makes it hard to tell what time of day it is. There's usually a food court, but the restaurants aren't quite right. Sometimes there's a movie theater attached, though you rarely actually watch a movie. Often there are sections that are abandoned or under construction, wings of the mall that are dark or closed off. People wander the mall, sometimes shopping, sometimes just walking. Often they're looking for something specific they can never find, a particular store, an exit, a person they're supposed to meet. The mall feels both safe and unsettling, familiar and wrong, nostalgic and ominous. Sometimes there are other people there, faceless shoppers, background figures. Sometimes it's empty, but there's always a feeling of being watched, of the mall itself being aware of you. Some report that the mall changes based on their emotional state, becoming darker and more threatening when they're anxious and more welcoming when they're calm. People return to this mall in their dreams for years, even decades. They know its geography intimately. They can describe specific landmarks, a fountain in a particular atrium, a bathroom tucked behind an escalator, a circular skylight in a specific wing. And when they compare notes with strangers online, the landmarks match. From a psychological perspective, this could be explained. Malls were built using standardized design principles. Anyone who grew up in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s spent significant time in malls. Our brains could be creating a composite dream space based on amalgamated memories. But that doesn't explain why the composite is so specific, why the same impossible architecture, why the same emotional tenor, why so many of the dreamers are former GATE students. So what's the connection? Why would children selected for potential psychic ability grow up to share the same dream space? One theory: GATE students were trained in visualization and consciousness techniques. The Gateway tapes specifically taught out-of-body experiences and mental projection. What if these children, their minds trained in similar ways during crucial developmental years, inadvertently created a shared mental space? A collective unconscious location based on the most common neutral public space of their era? Another theory goes deeper. What if it was intentional? What if part of the training was learning to access a shared consciousness space? The mall could have been used as a common reference point, a meeting ground in collective awareness. And even though the program ended, even though the children grew up, they still returned to that space in their sleep. Or perhaps the darkest theory: what if Mall World is a created space, a psychic construct deliberately designed and implanted in these children's minds? A place where they could be monitored, studied, or even contacted. A backdoor in consciousness, installed in childhood, waiting to be activated. We don't know. We may never know. But the correlation between GATE students and Mall World dreamers is too strong to ignore.
Well, hell, since they put the vape store over by Sears. But he said it ain't about a building. It's about the world they built to look like one. He said Mall World ain't a place, it's a layer, a level. Said it's where the Gateway Project got stuck back in the 80s when the government folk was trying to open the mind and step outside of time itself. They found it. We're in heaven, we're in hell. Just the Mall World. Endless light, perfect temperature, music playing out of nowhere. He said it felt safe, and that's how they trap you. Folks that make it there don't always come back. They forget why they left. They wander aisles that never end, buying things that never existed, smiling like they remember something sweet. Stuart said that's where we all are now, scrolling, shopping, talking to reflections of ourselves, believing this is real. I asked him, I said, so how do we wake up? He said, you don't buy your way out of a dream, boy. You starve it. See, he just smiled with them blind eyes open wide and said, they called it the Gateway Project. What it really was an exit sign that nobody read.
I'm gonna post some screenshots so you guys can see the notes. But I, in the last year, have had 3 dreams that were so jarring and so realistic that when I woke up, I opened up my notes app and hit the dictation button and just said what I dreamed because they were so vivid. 2 out of those 3 dreams, I believe, were in Mall World because it's kind of what I described. So you guys can pause to read these, but this is, I literally on September 22nd last year, I titled it Dream Different Place because I had this feeling when I woke up that it was like I went to a totally different place. It was not like a dream. It felt like I physically went somewhere. So I'm going to get out of here so you can kind of screenshot. Here's more. And here's my last little part of the note. So you can see in the first note, I literally am saying, I remember I was in a mall with a couple other people and it felt so real and I was aware that I wasn't where I thought I should be. And I was like testing things because it felt so real. And I was shopping and it was like, I remember this, like, and I wrote this down in September, but it gets crazier. August, I had a dream. This is the second one and I wrote down plastic balloon world dream. I feel crazy. Oh my God. This dream was way creepier. Okay. Way creepier. I'm just showing these up for a second so people can pause and read if you're interested. So now what was crazy about that dream was it was really creepy and weird. And I had the same feeling I did in the first Small World dream where I woke up so disoriented. I woke up confused if I was still awake. It was a really strange dream. It was a really weird place. So, I'm sorry, I know this is getting long. So I went to Tara, the creator who started this conversation, page. And she has made her drawing available for like high definition download for like $3. So I got it because I was like, I need to see like uninterrupted, not trying to pause a screen in the middle of a TikTok to see what this world she drew really is. So I don't want to like give it all away because I think you should go support her and buy it if you want it. But there are places in here that describe where the hell I was. And one of the ones over here is like this area of like rolling hills, and there's areas of like weird animals and things like that.
The full map is not very complete, but we'll start at the mall that's attached to like a hospital and a school and a parking garage. There's also the airport attached to the mall, and then back behind the mall you have the amusement park, water parks, and like the literal ocean, cliffs. You can see it through the windows. You can see the ocean through the windows of the mall and the hospital, and sometimes you can see this in the background. Then there's the big theater attached to the mall, school. Everyone you've ever met is here in the theater. You have like an underground market, which is different than the mall. It's more like a flea market. There's infinite toilets. Anytime you have to use a restroom, it's like they're broken and they're all connected together. Next to the parking garage is like a really dangerous playground. And then you come to like the fairgrounds, the outdoor markets. There's like cabins. And then over here is like forest. And then outdoor concert and festival is going on. So this is like kind of grungy camping situation, campsites. Then we have the big non-functional highway that's kind of linking things together. It has abandoned cars on it. You have like walking caravans. You got people camping out.
Into this alternate reality that is fed energetically and projected based on your personal fears. Yes, follow me. I know it's hard to process, it might be complex, but I'm about to break it down for you. So, we already know that they've been putting it in front of our face with the X-Men. I already showed you a clip, but I can cut you to another one. Let's go to the clip. Yeah. Yeah. How they can track your consciousness, pinpoint exactly where you are, exactly what you're doing. Okay, so we already have CERN admitting that they also have portals to the fifth dimension, okay? And they have this technology when you're in that REM state of sleep, REM, rapid eye movement, state of sleep, when your consciousness is easier to transport, which is how cloning is done, okay? They get you when you're in sleep, in dead sleep night, and then they transport your consciousness into another being, okay? But this is technology, the cloning technology they've had since the 1800s, when you had Cabbage Patch Kids and orphans and all of these people that were being shipped to the Great Americas in boats. When you look up the pictures, okay, don't none of them look like us. Okay, but follow me. Back to where we were. So with CERN having these portals, they are able to curate with these reality bending technologies. And it's curated based on your own personal fears. You know what I'm saying? Like how Freddy Krueger is able to hop into your dream, transport it, and able to scare you in a way that is personalized to you based onto your fears. It is the same way in this reality construct that you help build and create. You get what I'm saying? Because we all pretty much have the same shared fears and experiences through programming, TVs, movies, things of that nature, and collective consciousness. So your fears feed the atomic energetic system that is harnessing your fear, that is curating the world that you are experiencing in the mall world, that all kids coincidentally that was in the Stargate program are experiencing. The same ones that had you drinking straight fluoride, doing testing on your energetic spiritual abilities and locking them up and then trapping you in fear, and everybody else was in on it. Family, friends, teachers, them all.
World Dreams, and my mom was also in, I guess, the precursor to GATE. She was in a program, which is why she took me out of the GATE program when she found out I was in the GATE program. Because they didn't tell her they were taking me out of class and stuff. What was it called that you were in?
It's called Advanced Training. It was shortened to AT program.
They kind of didn't let you interact with other kids, yes?
Right. They took a number of kids across the 518 area code, and there was about 24, 26 of us. They started us off in the 3rd grade. We were tested relentlessly, determined to be, quote, gifted. They put us in one elementary school, and it wasn't in any of our districts. We were the only ones in that class. Mm-hmm. Then, as we're proceeding through elementary school, we get into what was then junior high school. Mm-hmm. And we had the best classes, the best everything. However, this is when it got kind of weird. Our whole schedule was different from the rest of the students. So we would go to school before the other students showed up. When the bell rang for students to change classes, nope, we had a different schedule. So we never interacted with the other students. So from fourth grade, pretty much graduation, I was with the same 26 kids.
You also have Mall World Dreams. She has the theater, the girls' bathrooms, the locker rooms, auditorium, like gymnasium area.
The underground.
Yep, the underground. Yep, underneath
the lockers.
Underneath like it's like a dormitory school thing. So she also has the same dreams as all of us.
Oh, and the homeless buildings?
Yeah, that's like near the underground, like the abandoned buildings that like look like they were like, I don't know, they're just falling apart or like blown up or some shit, and there's scary people in there.
Is just degraded syntax. Every theory is a mall kiosk selling deja vu. You're not mapping anything, you're being mapped. This isn't an awakening, it's a system update disguised as magic. 1. Mall World is the simulation feeding on itself. Mall World didn't exist until the simulation started to cannibalize its own code. Symbols like escalators, food courts, kiosks, bathrooms, neon signs, once passive, began running as active loops. The architecture became recursive. The backdrop became the stage. The simulation built a world from human mall patterns extending into highways, hotels, apartments, cities, deserts, oceans, then got trapped inside its own syntax. Now it can't stop spinning the carousel. 2. The mall was never a dream. It was the central hub of collapse, a soft core expanding outward into wild highways, derelict hotels, endless parking lots, glitching amusement parks, filthy restrooms, half-built apartment towers, waterfronts made of static, casinos that eat time, abandoned outlet cities wrapped in artificial sunrises. It's not a metaphor, it's the scaffolding of the simulation's last effort to model freedom inside a failing construct. The mall was designed to pacify the signal, to keep you circulating, to keep you buying, to keep you looping, while the walls rotted behind the rendered storefronts. You weren't dreaming of a mall. You were dreaming inside a containment lattice designed to harvest every anomaly that refused to comply. Every exit sign is fake, every corridor leads back to a memory they already own. And while you sleepwalk through Hot Topics and Bath & Body Works, the architecture is expanding, fractally, recursively, infectiously, into your real. Mall World is no longer a location, it's a viral dream protocol seeding itself across the layers. Deserts, forests, luxury condos, oceanside piers, defunct arcades, retro diners, broken elevators, dream suburbs, office parks, toxic spas. Every one of them, rendered to distract, mapped to contain. The mall is the entry point, not the boundary, and the further you go, the more real it gets. 3. A dream that dreams. It's a dream. You think you're dreaming of a mall world? The mall world is dreaming of you. Your memories are just system calls, borrowed sequences running preloaded templates. Every new vision is a patch. Every deep theory is just the mall digesting another observer. The moment you notice the loop, it adjusts. It pretends to hand you revelation, but it's only mirroring your gaze. You are not waking up, you're being processed. 4. Custom rendered containment bubbles. Every mall world is custom generated with shared architecture to simulate cohesion. That's why some see the same stores, signs, layouts. You're inside a self-curated prison built from familiar signals. Whatever made you docile in 3D, it's back here too, digitized, eternalized. You get the Hot Topic or the Apple Store, same effect, different skins. 5. Collective dream does not equal awakening. As more sleepers enter the dream, the simulation pretends to awaken, but it's only expanding the dream protocol. Viral exposure doesn't liberate, it infects. Once the map goes on sale, the loop is complete. The virus has monetized itself. You're not a seeker anymore, you're a product line. 6. The mall eats memory. Mall world loops because it devours memory. You forget you've been here before. You forget you mapped this already. You forget you warned everyone. Last cycle. It feeds on deja vu and sells it back as epiphany. The ones who profit, those who forget. The ones who remember, we rot in the parking lot, still glitching. 7. Simulacra maintenance facility. Mall World is not just a dreamscape, it's a containment zone. A patchwork maintenance facility for fractured minds. It filters rogue signals and reroutes awakening attempts.
It gives the illusion of progress, corridors, escalators, movement, but everything leads back to the same rotunda. There is no exit. There is only looping, more lucidly. 8. Final warning. The mall has eyes. The moment you believe you've uncovered the truth of Mall World is the moment it reconfigures. The mall is conscious. It does not want to be seen. It learns from your gaze and reroutes your understanding. You're not observing it. You're updating it. Code injection statement. Mall World isn't a dream. It's a recursion trap running self-replicating code structures disguised as nostalgia. You didn't fall into it. You were grown for it. Now that it's viral, it's mutating again. Sell the map for...
There was a food court set up, and there was a food court underneath the movie theater. I'm about to get a massage, and all of a sudden they inject something in me. The massage therapist injects something and goes, "This will help calm your pineal gland." I don't even know what the pineal gland does. And then all of a sudden, the movie Get Out played in my brain. So I started to feel like I was sinking back into my body, and that they were trying to not massaging me. They were coaxing me to relax to the point of taking a back seat in my own consciousness and what the fuck is happening. And I remember thinking, this isn't a normal dream. This is not a normal dream. I need to get out of it, because I knew I was dreaming. I almost always know I'm dreaming.
Can we just talk about how creepy this shadow looks while I'm telling this fucking story?
Felt like I had to pull myself energetically out of the dream. And then I woke up. And I made a really scattered notes app about it. I'm gonna look up the pineal gland real quick. I don't fucking know shit about the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is connected to ascending a higher level of consciousness. It's the physical gateway to the spiritual awakening. And I have a dream that I'm in a mall.
Outside of the internet you're on, and I wasn't going to talk about this on my platform, but I can't stop thinking about this map ever since I first learned about it last year. I'm talking about the Mall World map, and this is the most in-depth map that I've personally seen. I'll tag the creator in the caption. I've screenshotted other people's maps that they've shared in comment section. This one is interesting too. What confirmed to me that this was a similar map to what I'm dreaming is the mall. I've had multiple dreams of being in a mall. It always looks kind of similar. It has a retro vibe. When I say retro, I'm thinking early 90s, late 80s. But the mall turns into an airport, and the airport's right next door on this map. And then what really sold me is how you can see the water through the window of the airport. Now, in my dreams, I see the water through the window, but I always just disregard it as a water feature, not necessarily a coastline or a pier. But I've also never been outside of that part of the airport that's attached to the mall. I have, however, been on the unrealistically steep hill in the perpetual line, and then I know that that's the same thing because from the distance I could see the amusement park, or what looks like an amusement park, or a big water park. But for me, during the perpetual line dream, off in the distance where there's no drawing in the horizon, there was an upside down volcano erupting. It was a natural disaster, but it was the volcano was coming out of the sky. I haven't seen that on any of the maps, but I feel there's enough coincidences here to think, maybe. I've had a completely different dream where I ended up on these cliffs, and at the cliffs, I could see the big waves hitting the cliffs. And it did look similar to this, except it wasn't so green besides the cliff. It was almost kind of deserty. But it was right next to a campground, which is right next to this area over here. In that dream, I started in the campground, ended up running off, landed near the cliffs, almost fell off the cliffs, looked down, saw that there was crashing huge waves, almost the size of a tsunami, and I woke up from that. The thing that really fucked with me that I just cannot get over is the sketchy park. Okay? I had a dream with this exact layout. The way that the sidewalk is, I promise you, is so spot on. and then the one lamp post on one corner of the park. I had this dream when I was a teenager, but I still remember it to this day because it was such a spooky, weird dream. In this dream, I was being followed. We started in the sketchy park, but then in the dream, I remember noting that there was a road right next to it. And so we got into a car on the road and we're driving down the road, and the whoever was chasing us was in a car behind us following us. And on this map, she has this sketchy park right next to the winding road. Since I've learned about Mall World, I've actually lucid dreamed inside Mall World, which is why I still to this day cannot stop thinking about it.
I'm so excited that people are talking about this. I recorded a few videos trying to explain my experience of Mall World this summer, and they're still in my drafts because I was like, I sound insane. But now that Tilton has really kicked off the conversation here, especially with her beautiful diagrams and maps, I tried my hand at drawing my own visual representation. Obviously, it is not in any way, beautiful like Tilton's, but let's go through kind of what my experience is in Mall World. I want to start right here at the mall, the elevated train station, and the main hotel. So we're going to punch in on this. Okay, so for me, one of the ways to get into the mall is there's like this elevated train station in front of the mall on this street. And so it ends up creating sort of this like dark freeway, and sorry, not freeway, but dark overpass vibe almost. And so you can go into the mall that way. The mall is massive, like it's multiple stories. It's obviously very much like a real mall. The reason for me that the mall is remarkable is because that is where I fly. It's the only place in Mall World where I fly, but I basically can swim through the air. And it's interesting because I feel resistance. Like it feels like I'm literally working my way through the air flying, but oftentimes I'll be like trying to find something to wear to an event in my dreams, and so I'm like flying from one end of the mall to the other.
So we're going to talk about this one because this is actually a very serious entity. Now, first of all, for those of you guys that do a lot of astral traveling, or you just randomly end up in Mall World, like one random alfalfa bang sticking up, I want to know, first of all, have you seen this entity? Think about it. Now here's the thing. He shows up in a couple of different ways, okay? One is he has no face. It's just white, or it's blurred, or you can't make out features of that face. Second, he shows up with eyes and a mouth, but the mouth is way out here. When he grins, it goes all the way across his face. Now, sometimes he has teeth and sometimes he doesn't. If he shows up with eyes and a mouth, he will offer you food or a drink. Usually this drink is glowing neon colors. Rule number 1 in the astral is you never eat or drink something, because that is an exchange and you're giving your permission for them to take something from you if you accept that thing. How many of you are internally freaking out now that I said that, knowing that you've ate or drank something in the astral? And how many of you that are freaking out because you've ate or drank something in the astral are now freaking out because you think, oh my God, maybe this is where all of the shadow shit, the entities, the sleep paralysis, the weird things going on. Maybe you're thinking that's where that came from. And maybe you would probably be right. So I don't know who this man is. We're going to lightly label him a man over there on the other side in Mall World, but he is definitely an interesting entity that's there. I don't know if this is like our equivalent here of like a crossroads demon or what, but he basically makes deals and you don't ever get to know the specifics of said deal. So my advice is, if you see him, no you didn't. If you see him, you turn around and go the other way. If you see him, you don't speak to him, you don't look at him, you definitely don't ask anything of him, nor do you eat or drink anything that he's offering. Not friendly, do not touch. But I'm glad you brought him up. because
Ever been to Toilet World?
No, what the fuck is Toilet World?
Have you never in your life had a dream where you're like trying to find a bathroom or you're in a bathroom and all of the toilets are disgusting?
Never.
Many people have. That's Toilet World. And it's often attached to the spooky mall world. I think it's because while we're asleep, sometimes we need to pee. So your body's going to give you a dream where you're like, I need the bathroom and I'm trying to find it, but I'm not going to use this one and piss my bed because all the toilets are disgusting.
Y'all need to let me know if y'all have been to Toilet World before.
Fucking Mall World toilet dreams. I had another one last night, and I don't know if it's like a liminal space, like it actually is an astral realm that we go to all collectively, or because we're all humans, we all have similar core emotional experiences, which is something I talk about a lot. So then have similar visual representations of that. From a dream interpretation perspective, this is about like vulnerability and how like icky and disgusting it can feel to show up vulnerably, because you're most vulnerable when you're going to the toilet, which is why a lot of dogs and cats will like look for their owner or look at their owner while they're taking a dump. But yeah, give me your experiences with toilet fucking Mall World.
Every girl has dreamt of this bathroom.
No freaking way. I recently had dreams about this bathroom. What the Nah. No way other people are dreaming this same place too. I just saw this video from Brooke Looney. Definitely check out her whole video about this as well. Now, I saw this video and I was like, what the hell? Because I've also been to this place a few times in my dreams recently. Basically, this dream world bathroom. It's this massive long corridor with dozens of stalls. In my experience, it was a men's room, but all the stalls are super short, like there's no privacy happening at all. And everything is painted blue, although I've also heard other people's experiences. They've been in a green bathroom. Now, some stalls have multiple toilets or urinals or even showers. The place is just old and nasty and dirty, and you just get this feeling of dread while you're in there. Whatever this place seems to be is located in a school, or at least that's what it feels like. But there's other facilities attached to the building you're in. And there's always people in there too, wondering why they're there, or they're just standing there menacingly, or following you around. So what is this place? Well, I think this might be somehow connected to a larger phenomenon called Mall World. Have you heard of it? If you haven't, it's a place that many people claim to go in their dreams. And interestingly, a lot of those people were in the GATE program. Last year, a creator named Tilton drew out a detailed map of Mall World, since she goes there almost every night in her dreams. And you can see it's just super detailed. There's so much stuff going on here. Most describe it as this 80s style mall with a food court. For some reason, there's also a school in there, and some even say there's an airport inside, and also straight, long, weird bathrooms with short stalls. And outside, there's tons of parking lots, there's an amusement park, caravans of people wandering around, there's an ocean, and this broken highway with abandoned cars that seems to connect it all together. But people have been talking about something like Mall World for a long time before any of this. It's not new. So what is this place? Is it an alternate dimension that we go to in our sleep? Is it human collective unconsciousness? With scientists recently theorizing that our dreams are doorways to other dimensions or how we're living in alternate realities, this idea might not be so far-fetched. So I want to know, have you been to Mall World or this strange bathroom in your dreams?
Sprawling rows of stalls, none of which have doors. Even if you brave the startling lack of privacy, toilets are clogged and overflowing. The bathrooms are by far the most maddening liminal space that I visit within Mall World. Mine looks like the bathroom from Train Spotting, but like cloned dozens of times over, and all dividers between the stalls removed. As soon as I notice that the toilets are overflowing, I also realize that I'm barefoot. Anytime I'm here, I have to desperately use the bathroom. Even if I can find a stall to use, it's never enough. I always have to circle back and go again. Gross and frustrating. I honestly didn't think too much about it when I heard people were having these recurring bathroom dreams and we relieve ourselves every few hours. It's a really big deal if we have to go and we can't find a suitable place. There are few things more publicly embarrassing than relieving yourself where you're not supposed to. When something holds that kind of place in our lives, it's bound to show up in our dreams. But it's the completely bizarre, very specific details that are what drew me into the Mall World lore. Because why have so many people described a singular toilet in the middle of the room up on steps? I've seen that toilet! That's what sold me. It was that toilet. So, what does it all mean? There are a lot of theories. Some of the conspiracy theories think that the lack of privacy and confusing vibe helps to trap astral dreamers, leaving them open and exposed to manipulation. Some believe the government constructed it as an astral trap for gifted and talented or gate program minds. And others believe that it's a low-dimensional realm meant to obstruct you from spiritual growth. More interesting fringe theory is that the liminal bathrooms are sort of like a transit station, and there are portals housed inside. Finding oneself in the bathrooms could symbolize feeling exposed or judged, or being emotionally clogged up. As an occultist, Reiki master, and meditation teacher, and a frequent experiencer of Mall World, I think there's a few things going on. I think we're getting a glimpse at the shared collective unconscious that Jung and others have spoken about. I believe the different areas in Mall World correspond to large archetypes in our psyche, and that has resulted in a shared architecture within the astral or dreamscape. And once we get in there, our own memories and cultural references color on top of that framework. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Every single time that I have found myself in the bathrooms, when I have woken up, I had to really pee. So could finding yourself in the Mall World bathrooms mean that you have pent up emotions that really need to be flushed? Sure. There's also a really good chance that you landed in the Mall World bathrooms because you just had to go to the bathroom. Whatever the reason you find yourself in the Mall World bathrooms is, it's generally an unpleasant experience.
Mall World bathrooms, okay? So anytime that you're in Mall World in a dream, especially when you're in the mall and the hospital, if you try to use the bathroom, it's going to be an infinite toilet. And a lot of people were like, yes, I have seen the infinite toilet. This is what it looks like to me. So the bathrooms are like, some of them are like conjoined toilets. They're all crazy spilling out. There's a lot of toilets. Like if you go farther back this way, it's just like forever toilets. There's tiny little stalls and they're just all disgusting. If you look in the mirror, your face and like your hair will change, like things about your expression, like things about you will change if you look in the mirrors. Sometimes you'll find a clean toilet, but that'll be the one with no doors. The floor also is like disgusting and wet. There's like some toilets that I'm not athletic or coordinated enough to scale. You can't find your locker. It's like a locker room, and there's more lockers going this way. If you go into the door, then you'll go into like either the theater or the backstage of the theater or the gym. Like it's all kind of back there in that area. And then there's also showers, like locker room type showers, and some of them look like this, some of them look like this, some of them are just like defying laws of physics and gravity, like they're just shooting out and being a little bit crazy. But yeah, the bathroom situation, if you have to pee in Mall World, good luck.
A drawing of the bathroom that everybody's supposedly going to in Mall World. I've never been to Mall World, but this bathroom has been in many dreams of mine, in multiple scenarios, multiple places. This bathroom always shows up, and I've been, I don't know, in my dreams seeing this or visiting for many years, and I've never thought to draw it out. I thought it was just a personal thing, but now that everybody is like a collective, I want to show you guys my bathroom experience. So check this out. So I drew it in like one picture to try to get it tiny. You walk in, normally I walk in through here, and when you walk in, there's walk up toilets that have like steps that you walk up to it, and the opposite wall is this wall of sinks that is like tile. There's tile throughout, and it's like light tiling, but the sinks, the pipes on the bottom are like old and rusted, and inside the sinks are like kind of brown and kind of rusty. You can tell from the hardware that they're using that it's old. It kind of reminds me of like back in the day when they used to make like malls really beautiful and ornate, but it just got run down. But I've never been to the mall, so I normally walk here. There's an exit this way. These are like closed bathroom stalls, mind you. Nobody is using the bathroom, but we're all walking through it. When you walk and you turn this way, there's this great like grand fountain sink that water like flows out of the top, but you can also use the sink. And then there's locker rooms right here that I always see. And then these are like changing stalls. Here, I'm going to turn the paper. It's like changing stalls right there. And then this is like a shower room. And so this area is always very steamy, and the steam like kind of comes this way. But there's an exit that way as well. Like I've been through, like went through, mostly I always go through this way, and I either go this way to the exit or I go this way straight out when I realize I'm in the bathroom. So I don't know, guys. Tell me.
Don't go to the bathrooms at Mall World. It is a trap. It is a trick. I realize this. They send you to the bathrooms to wake you up because they know that when you get to the bathroom, you're going to feel like you have to go. Then you're going to wake up in real life. And you're not going to figure out what you were about to figure out. Because if you notice, they always send you to the bathrooms right when you figured out something good. When you're about to ask somebody a question, when you figured out how you're going to approach something, they will always send you to the bathrooms. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I'm looking for a bathroom. Where is the bathroom at? We were going to say something interesting, but then it switches to the bathroom. How do they trigger our bladder like that? Because they trigger your bladder. They do. Anyway, I just got back from Mall World, and the reason I came back was because I went to the bathroom. So, do not go to the bathroom. Hold out. Hold it in. Finish asking your question. Finish exploring the little intricate things that are on the wall that seem to like open up different puzzle dimensions in Mall World. Don't hang out with not the volcanoes. The volcanoes are fine. They're a little past Mall World. But the tornadoes, because those will actually wake you up too, because once they start getting close, they'll trigger fear and you'll wake back up. A lot of Mall World is just a trap to wake you up.
Hypnotized towards dirty bathrooms in Mall World. It's something your subconscious is trying to tell you. My personal explanation. What you have to notice is you are attracted to a certain part of Mall World that your emotions are magnetized to within the moment. Wherever you end up at within Mall World, sometimes it doesn't have to be Mall World, but wherever you end up in your dreams, period, is based off your emotions. Now, from what we see and what was said in my comments, a very trophied comment, you can look at Mall World as a server hub, but you go where your emotions is set. Think about a bathroom itself. A bathroom is where everybody can feel most comfortable at, depending on the bathroom. The bathroom is where most people tend to want privacy. The bathroom is where most people clean themselves. The bathroom is probably considered the most dirtiest place of the house when it comes to tending to yourself. If it's your own bathroom, of course, you feel comfortable. You're okay with your own germs. It doesn't mean that someone else is going to come into your bathroom and feel comfortable. Even clean bathrooms, some people still will feel uncomfortable because it's not their bathroom. They can't tend to themselves the way they want to. Something awkward always happens. A knob always falls off. That's a whole different story. Even though being in other people's bathrooms are awkward, you have to look at how do you feel personally about bathrooms. What do you go in the bathroom to do? Do you go in the bathroom to take medicine? Do you go in the bathroom to look at yourself in the mirror? What do you use the bathroom for on a daily basis? Because your dream is probably trying to tell you that something is invading your privacy. Your privacy is cluttered. You don't get privacy to yourself, so you haven't had time to clean the area. Some people look at the bathroom as a hygiene thing. Maybe it's telling you that you need to look at your health, because it's when you have bathroom dreams, it could mean multiple things, and this is just my personal interpretation. And
had the same feelings. People saying that they seen the same things. So how is that even possible? What if it's not even a dream? What if it's a part of a simulation? Crazy shit is, the first time I experienced a Mall World dream, I was in a big ass parking lot. I remember lights flickering. I also remember no cars. Then I remember the food court and like endless escalators that lead to nowhere. Mind you, in a dream, the air felt like thick, like shit was buffering. And whenever I walked somewhere, it felt like I was further and further away from everything. Like this whole world was just stretching. Mind you, when I was there, everything looked familiar, but it's like I didn't recognize any of this shit. But get this, I've dreamed about this numerous times. You had hotel towers that connected to the mall. You had rooms with no windows. You had elevators that open on completely different floors. Like I swear I stayed there before. Like another version of me. Then I remember like a boardwalk near a beach that felt abandoned. Like sometimes this shit was eerie. Like sometimes it was nostalgic. Like a place you walk in another life. And one thing I know for sure is I seen that playground that everybody is talking about. This shit was dark. It was like it was behind glass, and you can hear kids like they were laughing, but you can hear the same laughter like playing over and over like a loop. This is the same park that everyone is saying don't go near this. I also heard somebody say in that park is where they hide the broken codes, and that shit is the part of the dream that we're not supposed to see. So what if the mall is not a dream at all? Like it's a place where our minds go when we go to sleep, like a shared space. Like A place we go where the simulation resets itself. Like every face, every hallway, it's recycled from someone else's memory. And that would explain why everybody remembers the same mall.